there's 4 new tax laws. I mean, you can understand why there's so much apprehension because Nigeria is broke. Right? They've been borrowing money forever, right? If you are earning anything less than 800,000 naira a year, you are exempt from the taxes. Anything above that, it progressively increases to the top rate of
It's
about
like, will
20.
people go to prison for avoiding taxes in Nigeria? Like,
That's what they plan to do. Then when you get your salary, they tell you, well, we're removing this one for your tax because we're not paying it for you.
You require a job to pay taxes, right? So if there's no job, how do you pay the taxes?
hello, everyone. Welcome to the Diaspora Chatter, the #1 podcast in the world. We are here to deliver a fresh new episode. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Otis and Mosi. What's going on, guys?
Everything is going on. I'm still basking in the euphoria of the past Utah season. So this is going to be a good year for Diaspora Chatter. And mostly no comments, no smart comments. I see that smirk on your face.
There's no smirk on
all
my
joy.
face. I'm just listening to you. Yeah. Good day, everyone. Happy to be back. Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year again. Yeah, mostly your voice is a little cracked. I'm guessing the celebration was too much for you. So you're
Not really. I mean, I think there's been a cold going around, so I think
Oh.
I think I'm much better now. So I'll try to talk louder.
Okay. All right. Well, for those of you watching, this is what we do. We come here, we talk about life in the diaspora. We're in the United States here, so we try to cover topics that affect us living here and also those topics that affect Nigerians back home. So if you're new, if you're not subscribed, you can just subscribe to this channel. We post new episodes every week and share this with your friends. Today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, which is taxes. Right? So usually you have the 30 December holiday period. People go, they spend, they enjoy life and everything. And then January comes around and reality starts to kick in. Last time I mentioned I was scared to look into my to check my bank account. I finally checked it. It wasn't too bad, but not looking too bad. But I'm gonna be crying soon because January is the beginning of tax season here in the United States. So during the first few weeks, everyone starts getting what do you call it, the W-2. You start getting that in the mail that tells you to start getting your taxes, getting ready to file your taxes. So you either owe or you get money back. So we're going to talk about some of the differences and comparison, with the taxation system here versus Nigeria. I know there's some recent tax code changes in Nigeria.
There are too many speculations about what's going on, so I'm unsure. But something like January, I'm hearing rumors, some people were debited. I saw something that is not going to start, so I don't know.
Mosi, do you know much about this?
Yeah. I mean, I think I know a little. I know around, I think it was middle of last year. Don't mind me, I'm still, that thing that happens when you're in the new year and then you still keep thinking you're in the old year. So I was going to say June of this year, but okay. So middle of last year, I know there were new tax laws that were signed. I think 4 tax laws. I mean, I think about 4 laws. So there's the Nigerian Tax Act, which consolidated most of the previous tax laws, and then there was the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, which basically that just refers to. Sorry, I'm reading it because I'm not a tax expert, but really talking about common rules for collecting and filing of your taxes. And then there's the Nigerian Revenue Service Act, which that focuses on Nigeria's version of what we call IRS, which is FRS in Nigeria, right? So it kind of covers with a new revenue service structure. And then there's the Joint Revenue Board Act. So I think, first of all, for a layman like me, I don't know about all of you, right? But when you hear that there are new laws, and then there's four new tax laws. I mean, you can understand why there's so much apprehension because I'm sure a lot of people don't understand what's going on. So in
Mm.
general,
Just
coming out of dirty December and coming to a new year, and then there's new tax, whatever, everywhere. You can understand the apprehension. Yeah, Otis, you're going to say something.
I thought Rookie was asking of the implementation, and two, it
Oh,
was one funny thing you said. Nigeria wants to start filing taxes. That's going to be interesting. They're going to do it electronically or manually, or how are they going to go about that filing?
yeah, Nigerians do fight taxes normally, you know. So
They
typically, I
do.
mean, yeah,
I never worked there, so I don't know.
They file taxes.
I work in Nigeria for about 30 years. So typically, it's not like the individuals don't file. So if you're in corporate Nigeria, typically your company is going to file
And
for
we're
you.
talking of individuals. Yeah, I know. I
Individuals, oh, no,
know.
no, I don't, no, I no, I don't think individuals
So
file.
what about those people who have like their own business? Like if I have my own, if I'm selling orange on the street, or I'm a shoemaker, or doing like that.
And typically
Yeah.
they don't, right? So that's why you have a lot of like I don't know, I forgot the name they call that, but where people go around and start collecting levies from you and claim it's tax. So that's why you have those
Wait, hold
agriculture.
on. People go around and start like government officials. They go,
Yeah, local government.
Local
okay.
governments, it's kind of very ad hoc and very unstructured, which, of course, now when things are unstructured, there's a lot of corruption and backhanded services happening here and there. So, but yes, Nigerians, to the best of my knowledge, again, I mean, I get a lot of attacks on TikTok and a few other places where it's as if these guys are just talking, they don't like Nigeria. It's not like that.
Yeah, somebody called me a puppet for the Nigerian government.
Just,
That made me laugh. Yeah,
Well,
because yeah, the
I
Nigerian
thought
government is paying us. Yeah, they're paying us to
yeah,
speak.
you might as well. Why don't they pay
Yeah.
you?
Well, I always thought why so far we operate an indirect tax system based on the petroleum. My understanding was an indirect system. They get the taxes from the petroleum. That's why we're not directly taxed. But I might be wrong. This is something I would look into later.
Tax now because there was a time when I was trying to go to school in some other country and I was trying to process a visa and all that and they required my taxes, right? So I mean I wrote to my company and they gave me my taxes. So that's the thing. You don't even know how much you're paying. It's like they just collect it. So I actually had tax documents for like 5 years. I was like, oh, I pay tax. So that kind of thing.
So,
So that's like the justice
so
system. It's not like here
you,
where you have to file your tax. You're responsible for your tax. If not, IRS come
yeah.
after you.
But in
So what
Nigeria,
you're saying is that in Nigeria, the majority of the tax comes from the corporate companies.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you're working
typically yes, yes. I
working,
don't think. I mean, you guys can put it in the comment section if you ever pay
yeah.
tax individually in Nigeria. To the best of my knowledge, no.
yeah. But first of all, you require a job to pay taxes, right? So if there's no job, how do you pay the taxes? And I am unsure what the unemployment rate is there. I'm sure it's really high.
Are you
So
talking of before now or like previously?
right now and previously it was always high because no data. We don't have any empirical data to show what's going on. Even the taxes that they collect, what's the revenue? I think IRS can tell you in the US can tell you what they generate from taxes.
Hmm.
The FRS in Nigeria can you tell it generate and what is being used for? Infrastructural
So, so
development
is
and all
that
this.
part of the new changes they are implementing to fix some of those things? Because I heard that they're also going to try to like tax people who are doing certain kinds of
Okay,
jobs.
these are the main changes. So first of
Yeah.
all, I mean the one I know off the top of my head. I mean I was speaking to a friend of mine that runs a company in Nigeria. I know that if you are earning up to 800K a year,
Mm.
if you are earning anything less than 800,000 naira a year, you are exempt from the taxes, right? So it's kind of a relief for low income earners. So, and that's going to be calculated based on whatever inflows you get into your bank account, right? So again, that back to what Otis was asking about how they're going to enforce. I think that's what they're going to do, and that's why a lot of people are complaining that, oh, what if my brother is sending me money, blah 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 blah. Because that's if for instance I'm sending somebody money to help me build a house in Nigeria, and
Right.
I inflow 20 million naira to your account, automatically you're going to get taxed at the end of the year because
Oh, so because they'll be monitoring the bank account.
of course
Okay,
that's
so that's
if you get if you're earning less than 800k, you're exempt, and then if you're earning anything above that, it progressively increases just like here, up to a top rate of about 25%. Right. So yeah, so that's the key thing, And then people, I mean, a lot of people are saying that VAT, there's going to be an increase in VAT charges, VAT, which is value added tax on goods and all that. I think it's currently around 12.5, and they're saying it's going to increase.
That was
is
15%.
is that like common
VAT
because
is
I
like
know
sales tax, right? It's
So what
sales
again?
tax,
similar.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of
Is
sales
that
It's only
tax.
like sales tax, yeah.
so they even have that? Because I don't remember seeing like in Nigeria, if something is 100 naira, it's 100 naira. It's not like they don't add.
No, the tax already included in that
It's
100
already
naira.
included.
Yes, yeah.
Unlike here in the US, whereby you
Like
see
yeah, where
something,
you see 100 naira, then you
They
gotta pay VAT.
itemize it.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's already included.
yeah, okay. Do you guys prefer that? Which ones do you guys prefer? Do you prefer it being included, or do you prefer the way?
I prefer the included. In the US, I feel just trying to rip me off when they say plus tax. That's always convoluted for me. They were like
Yeah,
$90 plus tax. Put everything in there and just tell me it's $100.
yeah. You never go to the store with the exact amount of money because because it's gonna go over. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I experienced that this recently.
And one other thing, I think in the US, they tip and there were tax on their tips. I think the president said there will no longer be taxes on tips above a certain amount. So some people prefer to
So
tip in. Go ahead.
so yeah. So taxing is a very complicated
Right.
system, and like there are also tax loopholes here. Like in the US, a lot of loopholes, which a lot of billionaires and people find to keep themselves rich by avoiding the loophole. I'm just trying to compare. Like I'm trying to think of how they're going to implement some of those things in Nigeria. Like, are they going to be loopholes? How do you think they will be able to deal with the loopholes? Because we deal with a lot of loopholes and issues here. People avoiding taxes. Like, what's that guy, Wesley Snipes? He went to prison for avoiding avoiding taxes. Like, will people go to prison for avoiding taxes in Nigeria? Like, you got
I mean that's what they plan to do now. So we just wait to see at the end of the year if it's enforced or not. Because Nigeria, as I like to say, Nigeria has all the laws I can think about. Our problem
yeah.
is usually enforcement and the fact that you can get around it if you know somebody, blah blah blah. So it's not a lack of laws; it's enforcement. That's
And
always been the problem.
in the US, those things are not like necessarily loopholes. If you say like tax credit, like if you made and deductions. So if you go over a certain amount, if you have dependent, like if you're a family man, you got kids, you got brothers, you can claim them because they are taking they're putting a hole in your income. So most times deduction, tax credit, like they cancel. I think there's an EV credit in the US, and I think it was canceled. September
Yeah.
last year, if you buy an electric vehicle, you get a tax credit for that.
The VAT currently in Nigeria is 7.5%, which you call it sales
Wow.
tax. Yeah, but people are the rumor or the claim is that it's gonna become 12.5 and it's going to increase. So it's just those are part of the things or the narratives that are being sold that are making people apprehensive, right? But in all honesty, or from what the law says right now, it's still going to stay at 7.5. And then largely a lot of essentials are zero tax anyway. So I think from what I'm reading, if it's enforced, what we just talked about, saying in the US when you go to the store and they say something $100 and then you end up paying 105 because of tax, that's what you start seeing because companies are now going to throw this tax to the end user, right? So in the end of the day, now you might actually see people getting employed and they tell you, "Oh, I'll pay you 1 million naira a year PBT," and then when you get your salary, they tell you, "Well, we're removing this one for your tax because we're not paying it for you."
Do you think Nigeria will shift to the US model whereby they will give you that 1 million, but then you then have to file your own taxes later. Do you think that
No,
will?
I think a lot of
Oh,
companies might not take that risk. What might happen is they
Pay
you
you 1 million for Nigeria, you go see them again.
you won't because
when
there might be penalties for the companies too. So I don't know how it's going to
when
go.
you pay
Well, yes, you get to see what's going to happen.
some people in Nigeria, because of the financial quagmire they are in, when they pay the salary, they have already lent some money from their bank account. Their account is in deficit. So when it hits the account, the whole money
yeah,
is gone.
they
So
have
that
that
person
here.
is gonna
They have that here. It's
overdraft,
payday. They have the
payday
payday
loans
loan,
over.
yeah, where you can like you can spend your salary before you get it, and they will as soon as it comes, they withdraw it.
Yeah, but the payday loan they charge you, but Nigerian
Oh
bank, I
yeah, they
think
charge
they
a
still
lot.
charge
Yeah,
interest.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you guys feel which? How do you guys feel about the tax system here in the U.S.? You guys like it?
Does anybody like taxes?
Oh, you don't like paying taxes.
I mean, do you
There's
think
there,
it's no? Do you think
when you
it's
say
fair?
when
Do you
you
think
say
like
taxes, sorry, I'm talking over you. When you say taxes, do you mean income tax or the different types? There's
income
property
tax?
tax, sales tax,
Let's
income
just
tax.
focus on income tax. Yeah, income and maybe state tax. That's another thing here. You got income tax and you get state tax. Some states have state tax. Some states don't have state tax.
They have city tax too.
They have
I know
city
one number one
tax.
as well is they have city tax and they have school district tax.
Right. So
So
do you
too many
guys
taxes.
like if you want to compare like I know like here in the like in Europe like Sweden those places they pay a lot of taxes. I believe they pay higher taxes than the US, but they have more free amenities like free healthcare. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone from Europe? So do you guys have a how do you guys feel about the taxation rates?
I don't
I
like
feel good
taxes.
about.
I don't understand the position of your question. I don't like
You don't like taxes?
taxes. I
Oh,
want all my money now. Which one is?
well, taxes are necessary. Taxes are required, right? For a developed society, taxes are required.
You asked me my honest opinion. I just give it to you. I know it's required. Do I like it? No. So I don't understand.
Yeah, but I mean, I get the part that its taxes are great for the development of society, but sometimes the way they spend the taxes is alarming on different things. It's just
Mhm.
like there's no accountability on why we're doing some certain things. If some board member just approve, depending on how they are feeling on a Monday, on a Tuesday, they just say, "Oh, we got to do this, we got to do that."
Are you referring to here in the U.S. or
Yeah,
Nigeria?
yeah, in the US too. Yeah, in the
Okay.
US too.
Mhm.
There's some roads they're doing close to where I live. I don't know
Mhm.
why they did that. I don't think it's unnecessary. They cut some lane off, but is that really the problem? That's the taxpayers' money.
So
It didn't really. Go
let
ahead.
me understand what you're saying. You're complaining that they are fixing the road. Last episode, we were complaining about bad roads in Nigeria. So here you're complaining that they are fixing the roads too much. If I understand you.
Yes, yes, correct. What an irony! That's an irony because the road was already good. They want to
Yeah.
convey. They were cutting off one exit and creating another exit. But I'm like, there was no traffic accident. Why did they do that? They're like, oh, that was what was planned for. I'm like, we could
Mhm.
channel this stuff to something else, or just tax me later in like 2052, so that I can just I can use the money now for other stuff.
So let me ask you guys. So I know, like in Nigeria, I think some of the sentiments people are like upset about the new tax system and all those things. Do you think people will be generally happy if they feel like, okay, all right, maybe you're paying more in taxes, but maybe the government, if they, and this is all maybe, right? Maybe if they have confidence that okay, they will see more good usage of the tax, better roads, better infrastructure. Do you think people will be generally
No,
less?
no,
You don't
no, no,
think so?
no. There is no. Let's not just beat around the bush on that. If you
Yeah.
look at the power sector, It's a
Yeah.
mess for how many decades? I think I was discussing with Mosi or yourself one time, like I think they have three phases of power. I think the generation, the transmission, and the distribution. They said the distribution, it was more corruption there, but the government is still involved in the generation. I don't think there's any 24-hour power supply. And I think some people, they pay their power supply. They don't get power 30 days in the month, and us over here we get it 30 days or 31 days depending on the duration of the month, and we still pay less than they pay. So that's one
Yeah.
sector, right? Power, security. See what's going on up north in Nigeria. People safe. What else? Basic pipe-borne water they don't get. So
So
if they cannot do all this, is it with the? I don't want to even go into a myriad of things that could be corrected,
so you're
but
saying if they can't do all this, increasing taxes will not make the situation better?
it's not auspicious
Yeah.
at all.
So there's so basically a lot of the public anger is maybe trust. Like I feel like they can't even trust the government to properly utilize the money they are taking.
Yeah, if you look at some of the buildings, like the way they did in the 70s, like in the University of, let me pick one, the University of Benin in those states. There were the buildings that were done in the 1970s. They look better than the one that were done recently. So they're giving contractors this low standard, low quality, and they are not up to par. So if you collect all this, I think there are innovations, there are more development, but you still go, we're retrogressing exponentially. So collecting this money, and kudos to our politicians. I'm just sarcastically saying of the great job they're doing. So, and the way Nigeria is structured, in my own humble opinion, I don't think collecting these taxes would mean anything. It might lead to more investment, or I don't know. But we're just optimistic.
So do you think? Well, first off, do you think the? I guess I don't really know how the Nigerian government runs. Like, do they even? Like, do they get a lot of their money from the oil or stuff? Like, is it like I feel like they need the money, right? Or do they already have enough money or what? Like,
Nigeria is broke, though.
right?
I think before the discovery of oil in 1960, it was agriculture.
Yeah.
And due to the oil boom, we abandoned agriculture. We used to export palm fronds to Malaysia, and I think cocoa as well to the western part of the world. I think we abandoned those. We can still go back to that to generate more revenue. I think primarily Ecuador or some other country, their primary stuff their primary export is banana or something like that. So if they get all this money, they're always in deficit. They're like, oh, the budget. They're always borrowing from the international bank, and that, and we don't see what they use the money for. So let them solve the problem that taxes. In my opinion.
Okay. So you're saying they have bigger fish to fry than the
It's
tax
in
stuff.
the case is the chicken before the hen or the hen before the
Chicken.
chicken. They should get
Okay.
they should get a scale of preference. The taxes is good. We got to understand for development, but is that
Yeah.
high on the priority list now?
Right.
I don't think so.
Why is not high on priority list? The country needs money now. Where do you want them to get money from?
Agriculture. Let's go to agriculture. Do you know? I mean, you mentioned in one of our episodes the billions of dollars they get from exports. So where do they use all the money for? We see these politicians driving exotic cars and doing all this stuff, owning businesses. And what do they do with all the recovery from the Abacha loot and all those other monies? When all those other monies they be recovered, all the money EFCC is be recovering. Where are they?
The money. You start now. I mean,
I'm asking. I'm just curious.
we're talking economics. You talk numbers, right? You think about it. You say first it's agriculture. Where how many years do you think it takes for agriculture to give you the kind of returns that is going to be enable you run the country? The country was broke, has been broke for years. They've been borrowing money forever, right? So, I mean, I can understand why government want to enforce tax laws. Probably there were amendments. If you think about it, there's always been tax laws in Nigeria, right? But they just amended it and then they are trying to enforce it. I know after this one, I'm sure they will confirm that our government puppets at this point, but I don't care. So yeah, I mean, it's true. Nigeria's always had tax laws. So if the government say they want to enforce it and ensure there are no leakages, right? I think it's a good step, right? Maybe overtaxing might be a problem, but again, you have to see where the money, what they do with the money before you criticize it. So
Yeah.
historically, they've been terrible at it, all right? But
Hmm.
we can't say because of that, then it should be free for all. As I established earlier, I don't like tax. Do you understand? But it's a vehicle for money now. So the government says they're broke, they need to generate money. I mean,
You
Nigerians
mentioned
already
something.
gave money.
Sorry.
They should bring it out now.
Before before 1960, the country was surviving on export of cocoa and other agricultural
Well,
produce.
how do you know the country was surviving? Were you
Well,
there?
it was for
Go
population.
check it out. Go check it out. Go check it out. 1960. Do your research. Our primary exporter of cocoa, we're exporting a palm fronds to Malaysia. So it's not like we're babies in the agricultural sector,
Hmm.
right? We can still
Hmm.
pick that. We can revamp. We can pick that back up and to support other industries. So me, I see another. I mean, this might be digressing a little bit. I see large, and as an incognito Christian, I see large churches springing up in Nigeria, good edifice. Where is those money coming from? They could use those to build factories. So there's an enormous amount of money in
Use church
the.
money to build factory. I
No,
don't understand.
I
What did
said
you say?
where I just made some controversial statement. I see huge churches. I'm not saying the churches. There are people paying money to build them. Where are they getting the money from? And you say there's
So
still
you're
money
saying
coming.
they should go take the money from the church or what?
I'm not insinuating that anything they want to be done. What I'm saying is they're getting money to build this huge edifice. The country is not broke. People are earning income. So
So why are you
I'm
not
saying.
complaining that they're taxing them? I mean, that's not what the government.
So
Churches.
basically, are you saying if I'm
No,
understanding
you
what you
say you say the country is broke. They need to tax. I'm saying there's still money there because the things going on before the taxes. I'm
so what
just
you are
saying.
saying,
I
you're
don't
referring to
understand.
the rich, to the very rich people. So they need to tax the rich. That's what you're saying. They need to tax the really
No
rich
tax,
people.
no taxes for now until they
Uh,
fix themselves.
So where are they going to get the money from now?
Where were they getting the money before now?
You use church. Let people talk of the church. So if the church is donating, people are donating money.
Churches,
One is using
yes.
the church.
Okay.
People are donating money to church, and church is using it to build edifice. And you say they should go and take that money. Okay, fine.
I didn't
I
say that. Don't put words into my mouth. I said they're getting money is coming from somewhere. That's their own voluntary
so
donation. That means they're getting
thank
money.
you. So they have the one they are voluntarily donating to church, and then
Hmm.
government is saying we have seen people that are donating and you are building the biggest churches in the world. No problem. I want to start taxing that income that you used to give church. And then you say no, they should not tax them. So where should the government get the money from?
Again, I mentioned earlier agricultural produce, our
I mean,
exports.
if you have done agri business before, you understand something, right?
It's
There's
not, but
absolutely
we're
no
doing
way.
this stuff before 1960. We were
Like,
number
what
one.
was
Again, I'm
production in
just beating a dead horse. In the 1960s, before the discovery of oil, we export cocoa, palm fronds to Malaysia and other stuff. Even what they call it.
but then, the population of Nigeria was how much?
Yes,
What
I'm
was the
saying. What
population?
was
How far? Please, can you just check it out? How much did the population of Nigeria grow since 1960 to now?
Probably a lot because I remember
How much?
probably hundreds of millions.
of
Right
course,
now,
minus that one, sir.
Hundreds of millions. Nigeria is only 250 million, or just about
yeah,
250
yeah.
million.
So
Hundreds of million. Did it
No, I,
grow within 1960? And did it grow 100 million?
yes, within our lifetime, it grew 100 million.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So I'm not
Within
going to
yeah,
argue. The thing
yeah.
is, if you are saying agriculture, if you go back to agriculture, I say I don't understand. This same country that you know for a fact that right now you say when you are proposing policies, let's say you say, okay, now I want to go back to agriculture. Who are you going to sell the agricultural products to? The same Malaysia that has gone light years ahead of you. Who's going to buy it? Because
Exactly.
Nigeria is not even self-sufficient to feed itself, right? Because we have a storage problem and we have a producing problem, right? We don't have a growing problem. We can grow these crops, but we cannot even store it. That's why every January, I'm even sure now, if you go check, there will be a tomato and onion, I think, shortage every January and February. Not like we don't have these things, but there's no storage. So by the time there are issues in the north because of the weather and all that, in January, there's shortage down south in January and February. So we cannot even feed ourselves. You're saying we should talk about agree to export and generate income. Bro, the government should do the one that they can do right now. Tax people.
So
All about taxing, taxing.
you've made me, it's an investment, right? There's mechanized farming. Those days you guys are right. When we propose the population grew exponentially, right? There's
Mhm.
the abandon, if they've continued since 1960, there'll be a tremendous development in the agricultural sector. We'll have been able to go into mechanized and large scale farming. And probably pest controls, diseases, parasites for our livestock and all that. But it was been abandoned. That's why there's shortage of food. I know. I think there was food crisis in Nigeria at a point in time when Finland was it Sweden the stockfish stuff.
Yeah, the
But
stuff.
after that time, did Finland or Sweden stop to send us stockfish and we're doing good? Stockfish is not. Go ahead.
So I just googled it, and I was right. In 1960, the population of Nigeria was 45 million.
Oh,
Now
so
it's 235 million. So
Yeah,
it's
because
grown by almost 200 million.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's obvious. I'm like,
people be having babies in Nigeria too much.
Maybe they should put a tax on condoms.
no, but seriously, I mean, the government, we can all agree that there's been probably, for lack of a better word or for lack of a more decent word to use, there's been not a proper use of our resources so far, but
Yeah.
it doesn't negate the fact that we should have a proper tax system. All
Mhm.
the functional countries in the world have a proper tax system. And
Yeah.
the way I see it is, if the government actually enforces this tax system, people actually pay those taxes. Maybe this is the point where Nigerians will actually start holding their leaders accountable. Because
Exactly.
if at the point where you actually your paycheck is actually reduced, your
Yeah.
income, you are seeing that you see, oh, this one is not an imagination anymore. You can put the numbers together and say, this is how much came into my account, this is how much I paid to the government over the last 2, 3 years. There's nothing, there's no light, there's no road, or the quality is terrible. I can't take my kids to the hospital. At that point, that frustration will bubble up, and then people will be hold their leaders accountable. That's the way I see it.
The,
So, whatever the government
Yeah.
wants to do
the,
is do it. Maybe at some point we need to like stop and say,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Because for me, right, like you were saying, I don't enjoy paying taxes,
Yeah,
but
not.
I enjoy driving on a good road. I enjoy taking my kids to free school. I enjoy going to the public park that's free. And there's
Yep.
some things that I
library,
enjoy. Library free,
library.
police is free. If you bump your toe here, you can call the police. Police will come to you
Yeah.
free. They don't need you. Like I know you don't need to be like a special big man to get like a police.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that people get for free because you pay tax, and it's even better in Europe. Like even in the US, people complain about the tax here, but even in Europe,
Yeah.
they even
The
have
healthcare.
more
The healthcare is terrible
healthcare
here.
things. So to me
I'm very happy
personally,
to.
yeah,
I
huh?
heard, I heard if you, I heard maternity leave for parents in Europe is 1 year, like 1 year. She's at home. I'm like,
Hmm.
more healthcare
So
free. I'm like, oh man.
yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things. So I support it, and
Yeah, hundred
But
percent.
yeah.
the tax thing, Mo, you mentioned that it's like an eye opener for people in Nigeria to hold the government accountable. When have
Mm-hmm.
people ever held the government accountable? Do you think
Because they
people
won't be taxed.
become intelligent and flee the country with their taxes
Bro,
then because
if you remember,
they
the statement, a hungry man's an angry man. You understand that when you become hungry, you become angry. So by the
When
time they tax people, they are still
they will
angry.
use law
Yeah,
enforcement. If you want jump, they go use law enforcement cage you, and then you go know.
all the countries
Let's
in the
see.
world, all the countries in the world, at some point, the people have to say enough is enough. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not calling for violence or anything. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that at some point, the people have to hold their leaders accountable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It might never happen in our lifetime, oh, which means they will tax them to death and they will suffer harm and they will be around and they will cry about
I like that one statement you made.
I
Probably
mean, it's
not in
what
our
it is.
lifetime. It's
Probably
gonna
not.
take.
I'm just saying. And that's why when I was making my statement, I said maybe this will be the turning point where people sit down and say,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
this
okay.
is how
Because I
much
thought
money
it's.
I count, and this is what the government has not done for me. And then they go for maybe town hall meetings, they'll call their representatives. That's how you realize that actually have a local government chairman. You realize that, oh, there's a House of Assembly guy that has a convoy. Maybe, just maybe, this might be the point where people sit down and say, guy, come first. Or when you want to, or they want to, there's an election and somebody says,
Re-election.
X amount of money and vote for me. You remember that, see, from the one they tax me remain, now you remain, now this, I will not vote for you, you still not do anything. In fact, I want to vote for this guy that seems to have better policies. Maybe this might be the turning point. So that's why I say, Joe.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I
Thanks
can't
for the
blame the
clarity.
All right. Well, let's make a disclaimer here. None of us are economists, right? Did any of you study economists?
I know.
No.
I took
Okay.
classes in economics. I know about scale of opportunity
I just
cost,
like
scale of
economics.
preference, the is it
So if
Maslow hierarchy of needs and all those jazz.
So anyone listening, if you disagree with anything, we are just speculating here. We don't have any
We're just gisting. We're just gisting.
economics degree. So we may be wrong. So if there's anyone who knows, you can leave comments. Let us know. Anyone from Europe, Australia, other places watching, let us know what your tax situation is like over there. Um, Let us know if the grass is really greener over there or not.
It's green now. At the park go Europe. 2026 in Europe.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this tax stuff? If I
Pay your
understand,
tax.
mostly you're pro-tax, Otis, you're anti-tax. Yeah.
As I've said, I'm giving my closing thoughts. Pay your tax, stop complaining. I hold your government
My
accountable.
closing thought is the government should hold off on the tax
So hold
thing.
off.
It's lower on the scale of preference. I know they say developed nations have the tax system, but we have to put a lot in ground there. I know the unemployment rate it's high. I don't have the data, but I presume that I think there's stat that how many billions that Trump wanted to tax Africans for sending a lot of money over there because a lot of billions of dollars are going over there. So if billions of dollars are coming from here over there, that means a lot needs to be done over there. So
Mm.
that's just my synopsis.
All right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for today's podcast. This was it was nice chatting with you guys. If you're watching this for the first time, you can subscribe so you can get the previous episodes. We always post this every week. Feel free to like this. Feel free to share this with your friends, family, neighbors, anyone on the street. Show them Diaspora Chatter.
It's
On the streets. Get a T-shirt that says Diaspora Chatter, and walk around. You know, Actually, we said we're gonna make a T-shirt at some point.
I
So
just thought about it now. You
we'll do
said
that.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, guys. See you later.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care, people. See you
Bye.
again.